Hello again. Tonight we are going to try a little something different with the video. After watching that slightly longer than 20-minute video from last week, it's just me standing here mostly talking, which is awful. So I'm sorry for the two people who watched that. So hopefully this will be the only standing in front of the stove moment of this video. I'll show some ingredient clips and that'll be about it really. Tonight's dinner is another soup, and it is sausage soup. There's not a lot to it. It's cutting stuff up, putting it in a pot, and letting it cook for an hour and a half. So this video should be relatively short. No fresh bread this week. I've got some leftover corn toasty muffins from last week. I'm not 100% sure what the difference is between these and cornbread, but it was a distinctly different recipe. So they're corn toasty muffins. I'm going to have that with the soup. Should be good. And if you are here for the second video, thanks. All right, I am about to make a cocktail. So here's the mixed drink. Tonight's is a wild Irish rose, with the base being Irish whiskey. I got this Jameson Black Label last week, and as you can tell, it's a little bit emptier than it was after I made my drink last week. I have found that I really like this. It's a very, very smooth, yet still flavorful Irish whiskey. So this is probably going to be my go-to whenever I need some Irish whiskey. So, we got the shaker glass, and we're going to put 1.5 ounces of the whiskey in there. And then we've got 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. No, it might be sacrilegious. I don't use fresh lemons. I just use a bottle of lemon juice. Just a lot easier when doing this quickly for a drink. 2 teaspoons of grenadine. Looks like I'm almost out of that. Probably have to get some this next weekend at the store. Luckily, I don't use it often. There is that. And then this gets shaken. And it gets strained into the glass. It calls for a large rocks glass. I am using the glass I got last week with my Jameson Black Barrel bottle. You know what? A lot of times I like to just go ahead and just dump the ice in there. And then top with the soda water. Ice doesn't leave a lot of room, so there's not a lot of soda water in there, but truth be told, there's not a lot of whiskey in there either. And stir just a little bit. Calls for an orange slice garnish. I'm not trying to impress guests or anything, so no garnish. That is awful pink. And sweet. Not bad, not great. Probably wouldn't make it again. But that's tonight's drink, the Wild Irish Rose. We've got a pound of smoked sausage here that is just getting sliced up, put into this bowl before it gets put into the soup. As far as meat goes, lately I've been buying meat and produce at Aldi. I think it tends to be a little better than what I'm getting at Kroger. And yes, I know I should be buying local, farmers market stuff. I don't. I'm lazy, and I like to make as few shopping trips as possible. I will get what I can at Aldi. Like I said, mostly produce and meat, and then I'll get everything else at Kroger. And that's been a relatively recent development, mostly since COVID. Towards the beginning, when I was working from home, I was lucky enough to be able to do that. I was doing a lot more cooking on weeknights and weekdays. I could do that, and I didn't have about an hour-long commute home every day. And there's the sausage. I hope you don't mind. I went ahead and chopped up the celery and the broccoli and washed up the mushrooms off camera. Just a little bit easier that way. There's not a lot to the broccoli and the celery. Bought way more than I need for this recipe, but I'm going to be using some broccoli again later this week. My son wants some salmon and tiny potatoes and broccoli for dinner one night this week, so that's what we're doing. You'll notice I am wearing gloves. It's not a COVID thing. It's a prep thing, and I just started doing this about a year or so ago. Don't know why I didn't think of it earlier, or why nobody told me, but yeah, onions make your hands smell, and that doesn't go away. So bought a box of gloves, and they work wonderfully, and I just love it. So now my hands don't stink when I cook, when I cut onions. Tonight's movie, while I am getting this ready, between hitting record on the videos, is Tone Deaf with Robert Patrick and a woman whose name I looked up and can't remember. She's in Silicon Valley on HBO. This is a very weird movie. Robert Patrick plays a great crazy guy. I was supposed to actually meet him this past summer at a comic book convention, but those have all been canceled. Hopefully, cure, or a vaccine will be available relatively soon. I know some people have said by the end of the year. I'm just hoping by the end of the spring, end of the school year. But one of the things I've been missing most during all of this is comic book conventions. And I was supposed to be at one, attend one that Robert Patrick was at, and I was going to get him to sign an action figure of the T1000 that I was going to give to a friend for her birthday. Obviously that didn't happen. She still got the action figure, but she's got a John Connor that this will go along great with. She's a huge T2 fan. I just wish I could have gotten it autographed. But, all right, the onions, that was the last thing to cut. Nope, I'm sorry, tomato bits. So we're going to do some tomato bits, and once those are done, then it's just time to put these in the pot and let it cook. All right. You might notice that I have now moved on to beer. Tonight I've got a Thunderstruck coffee porter from Highland Brewing out of Asheville, North Carolina. Lately I have been on a very big dark beer kick. So that's why we're going with the coffee porter tonight. Got that at Portvue, Hendersonville. Went looking for some bottles of the Ommegang vanilla porter, which sounded wonderful, but they didn't have any. So just went with this. Probably my favorite beer at the moment is a coffee stout from, I don't know exactly what it's called. It's a Kentucky brewery, something like Kentucky Brewery. But they've got like a bourbon barrel stout, and they've got a really good coffee stout that is gets you a pretty decent buzz and tastes good, tastes smooth. Haven't actually tried this yet. It is in my Joe Hill, Jason Ciaramella, The Cape beer glass from Jetpack Comics. Oh, yeah, that's good. Do enjoy that. That glass came with a hardback copy of the first miniseries collection of Joe Hill's The Cape. It was the hardcover book and the glass for $24.95. The book was autographed by Hill, Ciaramella, Zach Howard, and Nelson Daniel. I think all four of them. It's great. I no longer have that. Most of my Joe Hill stuff has been sold. But still got the glass. I like the glass. Got a big collection of glasses. Maybe one of these days I'll show it off. I think that might be a blog post in and of itself. But okay, we've got the tomatoes cut. That was the last of the ingredients. So now it's time to just combine them all. All right, the instructions for this next step, very easy. Put all ingredients in a soup pot. So we've got the sausage. We called for a 49.5 ounce can of beef broth. I bought 2 boxes. So one of these is 32 ounces. And then measured out the rest. We've got a pound, one pound of mixed vegetables. I've had some open vegetables in the freezer, used for other things, didn't need the whole thing, so that's what we're getting. Tonight, we are getting corn. We are getting green beans. And we are getting peas. Half a cup uncooked macaroni. Got a quarter cup onion chopped. We have a quarter cup of celery chopped, kind of sliced. Oh well. One of the things from last week's recipe, I thought it could have used more mushroom and more celery because those flavors did not come out at all in the soup. This might end up going the same way, but we'll see. There's more flavors working around in this, so we'll see how that works. A quarter cup broccoli florets cut up. That's not a lot of broccoli, really. Then we got 1 cup fresh mushrooms sliced. Once again, that was a package pre-sliced mushrooms. Then we have water to cover. That's a spoon. You know what? I should probably put in the 2 cups of tomato bits before I add some water to cover. Stir this up a little bit. This does not look like it'll make quite as much soup as last week's recipe. That made a craft ton. And I think that is an official unit of measurement, a craft ton. I ended up giving probably about 1/3 of it to my dad, another 1/3 to my sister, and they really liked it. I really liked it too. I had enough. I ate it for lunch the rest of the week. Well, through Thursday. I took it to work. Alright, I think that's good. Cook slowly for about 1.5 hours and then salt and pepper to taste. So we're just going to go ahead, put it on high, let it get to a boil, and then we'll put it back down, cover it. Didn't say to cover. But yeah, probably just cover it, cook it for 1.5 hours, and then see how it turns out. Alright, I'm looking forward to this. Okay, the 1.5 hours is up. Let's see how the soup looks. Looks like soup. And it smells like smoked sausage. So I guess that's a good thing that it's called sausage soup. Now, I just hope it tastes good. So let's spoon some out. I'm going to serve it with some of this corn toasty that I made last week. And there it is. That is my grandfather's sausage soup. Doesn't look half bad. I think it's going to be a good dinner. Alright, next week, Libby's red beans and rice soup. Well, maybe not next week. Let's say next time. Next time, Libby's red beans and rice soup. And this has been Grandpa Rosie's Recipes. Thanks, guys.